Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today I'm returning to Rule the Waves. I've lost track of my Let's Play order, but we are playing as Japan. It is 1907. We started a war with Russia and Germany, well, I guess we didn't start a war, but a war began with Russia and Germany, and we're in some trouble. We've got a fairly high unrest level. We do have a bit more prestige. We actually won a major victory over the Germans, the Battle of Tsingtao when the war first erupted, and sank 2 of their battleships there while losing 8 destroyers, but still I think the trade-off was well worth it. The downside is that we didn't benefit from those victory points because the Russians declared war the very next month, and when another power declares war on you, you apparently lose all your current progress in your war. So we're fighting both the Russians and the Germans, and as these almanacs point out, we are heavily outnumbered in many ways. Now, the one advantage that we have is the fact that we are in a very remote corner of the world. So, Japan is obviously over in the Far East, and Germany doesn't have very many quality stations to deal with them as far as, stationing their warships. The Russians, on the other hand, their fleet, if you will, is based out of Vladivostok, which is very good facilities. So I believe the majority of their fleet is here. The Germans have a much smaller percentage of their force. Still, even just the Russians by themselves outnumber us. And we do have a colony here in Western Africa in Angola. And I'm sure that's, I guess that's Eastern Africa, but to us it's West because we're in Japan. That's probably pretty vulnerable to Germany as well. You can see here we are blockaded, which means that that's going to have some more political effects. So I am fairly worried about, what that means as far as, the potential for us to be overthrown without a major battle. You can see we've got $1 million free cash right now because, again, we are in the middle of a war, so we get some additional funding. We can also see the treaties that we had signed that limited arms, the arms that could be placed on battleships was also dissolved as the war broke out. And that's the situation right now. We've got several battleships that are being constructed, several destroyers being constructed. We've got quite a bit of things coming off the ways here soon. Some cruisers should be finished rebuilding here in the next turn or two. We actually fought a battle with a Russian heavy cruiser just last turn, sank the cruiser, but our own cruiser sank as well due to the damage. Fortunately for us, our cruiser was worth a little bit more in terms of the value of, or a little bit less in terms of the value. It was the underdog in the battle, so we got a little bit of an edge in victory points there. Although I believe every turn we're blockaded, we lose victory points. So I'm going to change the submarine rules over to fleet support. I don't know if it'll have an effect on diplomacy or not, considering we have no subs, but I was told that if you moved them to unrestricted, it would cause France to jump into the war against us, which obviously right now we don't want that. We've got enough to deal with as it is. So you can see we've got some ships that are finishing working up. And we have a technology sharing agreement with Italy as being to our great benefit in researching ship design and naval gun manufacture. And apparently our ships sank a Russian sub, so that's good. We also sank a German merchant. And it looks like there's going to be a convoy defense battle size 2, so it's a small battle, I would assume. Own forces available in area, enemy forces available in area. Wow. Well, we might have... So you can decline battle as well, which would give the enemy victory points. But we're going to go ahead and accept that battle. And we're going to jump into the battle. So just 1 second. So I did remember this time. The one weird thing about capturing this game is that when you do record it, you actually have to make sure that you change your recording setup when you go into battle because it has a different kind of monitor setup. Anyway, as you can see here, we zoom in, we can see here we've got 6 merchant ships that we need to try and protect. And we have 2 light cruisers and 3 destroyers to do it. So I don't know what the Russians have yet. It looked like we had more ships that would be available, but apparently this is what we have escorting. I'm assuming these are all ships we've assigned to our coastal defense fleet. But that's where we're at right now. So I don't really have anything I can do at the moment, so I guess we'll just go ahead and run it. So we sighted an unknown ship. Hopefully the enemy is only bringing one ship to bear. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to race these destroyers forward. I'm just going to race my whole fleet forward there. So go ahead and do that. Real quick, some things to consider. The enemy or the merchant ships are AI controlled. We don't control them. As far as warships are concerned, when you have, you can have, because I just realized I didn't have a video where I explained how battles work. So real quick here, what we're going to do is we're going to explain just some of the mechanics behind the battles. So there's this OB option, which will give you the OOB of the whole, engagement. You can see here the coastal forces, convoy forces, and then Japan, just general. So we command this top bar, which consists of these two divisions of ships. Ships in battles are broken down into divisions. So you can see here we've got a destroyer division, and then we've got 3 ships assigned to it, and then we've got a cruiser division of 2 cruisers. So divisions are basically groupings of ships, similar classes of ships that operate together. You can have a triangle like this, which means that division or grouping of ships is AI controlled, and you can have a square flag on the screen which indicates it's human controlled. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, let's say this group is our flagship group, which it is. If these ships all sail miles and miles out and we can no longer see them, so I don't know if there's a sighting range. So if these guys sail all the way out here outside this sighting range and these guys stay here, we'll actually lose control of these ships. As ships travel outside of kind of the fleet commander's line of sight, if he can no longer signal the ships to give them orders, they will revert to AI control. So that's one neat feature in the game that kind of simulates what it would really be like to be, a fleet commander. Now, the thing you need to consider, obviously, is the Grand Admiral. We're not going to be on a cruiser, protecting merchant ships. But still, it's a neat little feature, especially when you consider 1907, very few ships, if any, are going to have wireless. So really, you're still relying on signal flags to give orders. Some other things to keep in mind here. You saw this. This is the sighting ranges. There's some other things we can look at. So we can see main gun range here is this circle. It gives us the range of the main battery. You can see torpedo range. Show fire lines, which we don't have because no one's shooting at anyone yet. You've got endurance ranges, which I've never seen matter in a battle. You can see, look at the massive circle, that very faint circle all the way around here. That's how far we can sail, but that usually doesn't matter. You can show enlarged versions of your ships, which just kind of gives you a little image in the bottom left. And division names can be shown on the screen or gotten rid of. In addition to that, you can use your mouse wheel to scroll. You can use the buttons to scroll as well. And that's about it as far as the basic controls. Now, if you want to give a command to a unit, you click on the flag. You go ahead down here on the left, and you can see there's a pick course option. Click on that, and wherever you want to sail it, you just click there, and it'll sail in that general direction. You can give orders for the squadron to turn together or kind of turn in unison. You've got control over the unit's speed. You can increase or decrease. One thing to keep in mind is prolonged periods of flank speeds for your ships can cause breakdowns. Trying to think. One other thing, you can set medium speed, squadron speed to the slowest ship, or cruise speed. And then the other things you can do here, you can right-click on your division to get its status, which brings up a window and list of the ships. The speed they're currently going, max speed, damage, flood, hits, guns, ammo, whole bunch of information on all the different ships. You can also right-click on an individual ship and get the status, which will pop the ship window up, which gives you a design look of the ship. It'll also give you the main turrets of the ship, so the forward ammo, the aft ammo, maximum range of the guns, hit percentage, number of hits scored, rounds fired, rate of fire, hit percentage. Does that for the secondary guns as well. Tertiary, which we have none on these types of ships, but it would give you that also. It gives you the point value of the ship. So if it's sunk, what is its point value? Fire control information, damage status bars, which will fill up as the ship begins to take damage. It'll also log different entries for the ship. and give you could have, it could be evading or, current speed, information like that. Basically just gives you all this information on the ship and gives you kind of the armor layout, the guns, the ship design information. You can access that also from the division window. So if you click on a ship here, you go ahead and click ship details. There you go. You got the same information. And you can issue some orders here as well as making smoke. You could make a smoke screen. You could hold torpedo fire, order flotilla fire, attack. You can set a lead formation. So you have a lot of different controls which would allow you to, more effectively manage a large-scale fleet engagement, which this isn't, but it does give you that ability. And then on the map here, you can see these little black dots. Those just represent the smoke that's visible from the ships because, again, they're all using coal. Up at the top of the screen, you've got some additional information. You've got a weather information up here. In this case, we have clear weather, which definitely affects the combat. You've got some information on the bottom right that tells you the weather's clear. There's a moderate breeze out of the north. Day sight range, 2,400 yards. Night sight ranges are 5,500 yards. I apologize. I was trying to drink something, kind of choked. So anyway, I apologize for that. And you can see here that we're paused. We've got some other information down at the bottom. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to set the game speed to slow. You can do real time as well, but for all practical purposes, that's too slow for this. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move it to slower. And you can see our ships are turning to engage the enemy. But we can see there's another unknown ship. So the enemy has at least 2 ships in the area. And it's kind of concerning because if they're heavy cruisers that are like raiding cruisers, we could be in some trouble. And if they're heavier than that, we're in some serious trouble. But anyway, we're going to sail our ships forward. We're going to try and intercept these guys. It might even be lighter ships, I'm not sure. But the problem is our light cruisers are not designed really for heavy combat. Looks like they've got a destroyer, which is good. Oh, crap. No, a Leipzig and a Mainz class cruisers. So 2 enemy cruiser classes, which I'm sure outgun our light cruisers. Our light cruisers were designed more for raiding than they were combat. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to crank up the speed to 19 knots for our destroyers. Get those stokers working, and for our light cruisers. And then we can see here the Germans are kind of turning away. I don't think we're in range yet. Why am I not seeing our main gun range on the screen here? Okay, yeah, so we're still out of range. Doesn't look like they're firing at us yet. They may be trying to run, which I don't know why they do that. I feel like they definitely outclass us, but they are running north. They could be trying to pull us away from the convoy if there are other ships around, but usually the battles don't work out that way, so I don't think that's likely. I don't think they're leading us into an ambush. I would crank it up to 20 knots, but I don't think we really want to do that because that'll lead to our ships breaking down eventually, probably. I guess we can do that. I don't know how fast the enemy ships can go. They probably have faster speeds. Doesn't look like we're gaining on them at all. So this might be a really boring battle. You can see here just a running chase as our merchant ships kind of sail off to safety. Uh-oh. Pause. Oh boy. So they did lead us somewhere. There's more enemy ships here, at least another light cruiser. Oh, crap. I wish I had some other ships that I could call in. We're really close to Japan. So I think the correct response now is to turn and run, because now we're definitely outclassed and gunned. Just outside range of our guns as well. So now we're going to turn and run. At least one enemy light cruiser. Maybe they just came in to kind of chase us off. They probably didn't even sight our merchant ships. That was the thing, is we probably just came within a certain proximity of the enemies. And, you know, we'll drop down to cruising speed. So I could have fought that. Oh no, Japanese destroyer division is out of sight. So you can see the destroyers have switched to AI command. While our... pause. They're now under AI command because they slipped out of our line of sight. You also can see down... Oh, shit. Are those destroyers trying to get collided with? Okay, whatever. The other thing that you need to... and I don't really care if the AI commands it. They'll probably just follow me around. But yeah, I guess that wasn't... The other thing to keep in mind is on the bottom here, you can see there's a timer. When the time elapse hits 500, that basically simulates the time being up on the battle and ends up being a, ends the battle. So you can see here the time is moving forward. Move things a little bit faster. And again, those destroyers are just following us around, which is fine. I guess we aren't supposed to do that. Okay, so we get a victory bonus because all 6 of our merchants survived. The enemy was trying to sink 2 of our transports and they failed. So it's a minor Japanese victory. Basically, they sent ships out, they didn't engage us, and that was really boring for you to watch. But I thought it would have been an interesting engagement if we had decided to fight the Germans, but they'd certainly had at least 3 light cruisers, and their light cruisers are better designed than ours as well. So I decided discretion was the better part of valor in this case, and decided to, not get myself killed. So we're back to the main screen, and we didn't really fight, but you can see here we won a minor victory, which helped offset the fact that the enemy still has us blockaded, which means they are gaining victory points against us. You can also see that the enemy has, or our the enemy Russian heavy cruisers, which have been patrolling, have thwarted some of our attacks on merchant shipping, which means that we have ships out there trying to raid, but enemy ships are getting in the way, basically. And they gained 140 victory points for blockading us. Unrest level goes up by 1, given the fact that we're at war and we're blockaded. So that's not good. And yeah, I'd really like to just force a massive engagement, but there's not an easy way to do that to try and break the blockade. If we can win a big battle, we might lower our unrest level. You can see here our monthly balance is also increasing. If there was any way for me to lower our naval budget as well, I would do that. That would probably make people happy, but no easy way to do that. I'm just trying to see if there's a good way to... We've lost several ships here, you can see. So Germany has 9 battleships. The Russians 16 battleships are the problem. Okay. Considering the dire war situation, the government is debating whether to seek peace. Your opinion on the strategic situation is sought. The situation is desperate. We should seek whatever terms we can get. We should sound them out. If we can get reasonably lenient terms, we should accept a peace. Or we should fight on until we've secured a victory. I would say, let's see about lenient. If we can get lenient conditions. The compromise peace is concluded with no change to the borders. Huzzah! Okay. The budget is substantial. Holy crap, negative 6 million? Are you kidding? Centerline turrets enables 4 centerline turrets on me. Okay, so I did accept peace, and I'm sorry you guys didn't get to see a good battle. I'm failing miserably. I did accept peace mainly because we were so horribly outnumbered. I was just trying to seek lenient peace, and the fact that we were able to get peace without losing anything was huge, and we really didn't lose much in the way of prestige. So I get to stay in command of Japan, and you can see here tension levels are much better, I suppose. Interestingly enough, Great Britain has laid down the dreadnought. If we go to the almanac, we can see they have 1 battleship building. Now that the arms control treaties are done, we can look at maybe designing some bigger battleships. And hopefully, I'd like to get involved in a battle, but I don't want to be involved in a battle where we're so horribly outclassed. You know, I don't want to be outnumbered 3-1 in terms of battleships, even just in theater. So I am going to try and provoke a war, but one that makes sense. Maybe just one against Russia by themselves or just Germany by themselves, but not get myself stuck in that horrible of a situation. I'm going to have to figure out the naval budget, though, because negative 6 million per turn. We're going to run out of money in, what, like 8 months? If things don't change. So, yeah. Now, luckily, we've got some ships which are under construction, which will stop being under construction, which will actually, next month, that should cut our negative balance in half. So let's go ahead and jump ahead a month. Okay. And so we're down to negative 3 million this month. You can see here with that almanac, we now have 11 battleships in service. The Russians have 17, the Germans have 21, and the British have a dreadnought. Apparently Germany's building 2 battle cruisers, and Russia's building 1 as well. Crap. So we probably need to design a actual battle cruiser. I'm wondering if we can. I'm guessing we can. Why not, right? Yeah, so it looks like we could design one. We'd probably have to build it in foreign yards. We can do a battleship. What about a battle cruiser? Indefatigable. Yeah, it looks like we could design a dreadnought class ship and build it, but it would have to be built overseas. Our shipyards aren't big enough, so yeah. Right now our money is a bigger issue, though, so maybe we start looking at... I hate decommissioning ships that are only like 8 years old, but maybe we start decommissioning some of these ships, especially the older destroyers. I don't know how useful those will be. They'll be good cannon fodder, though. I need to figure out what we're going to do next. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. The war is over. I'm sorry you didn't get to see the battle you like. I'm sure we'll get one before too long, but the next few videos are probably going to be looking at designing battle cruisers or battleships and things like that. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.